Hey guys, welcome back. Today is my updated boob job. My previous video has had so many feedback and hits and it's just gone crazy. Like my boyfriend's like, Sophie, it doesn't even feel like your video, it feels like YouTube's video, if that makes sense. Like, wow. So yeah, I thought I'd come back now and update you guys because I'm 6 months post-op. So yeah, let's go into it. If you've watched my previous videos, then obviously you know what I've had done, where I've had it done, blah blah. But I will link all the videos in my down bar for you to watch them if you are interested. So I had my operation on January 26th. I had a Mastopexy, which is a uplift and implants at the same time. I went for a 350cc under. I went for under the muscle, yeah. And I went with a company called Maya Cosmetic Surgery. I think that's pretty much the whole overview. So since that video went up, I have been bombarded with questions and all this kind of stuff, and I don't mind it. I'm not complaining at all. I love it. Like I'm every time that somebody asks me, I'm like, oh my god, you've been watching my videos. Like, it's just so crazy. But I thought obviously like I'd come now, and because I'm 6 months, just tell you where I am and answer your questions so everyone knows, because I'm getting quite a few of the same questions being asked. So I thought I'd address them all now. The question I want to address is what to expect in the first few days. I did do a vlog of the morning after, and then I didn't vlog until 6 weeks post-op, which is the massive video that's had like a bazillion hits. The first few days after, okay, so I had my surgery done on a Monday. I had it done at 10 AM and I was awake for about 12:30, so it's about 2.5 hours that your surgery, no, actually it would be less than that. It would be about 2 hours that your surgery lasts, and then while the anaesthetic wears off, you start to wake up. So on that day I spent it in hospital with Maya. With the Manchester one, you go to a hospital in Preston. So I spent the night there and then I left the next day. Kind of spoke about that already, and then I came back to Manchester the next day on the Tuesday. I spent the Tuesday, the Wednesday and the Thursday just on the sofa, chilling, watching TV, hanging out with Rose, hanging out with Tom, just I was pretty fine. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I didn't feel drowsy, I didn't feel ill, I didn't feel lightheaded. On the day that I got them done and the day after, I was sick, but after that I was fine. You cannot lift. I'm gonna tell you this from now. If your arms go past here, you're one of the lucky ones, okay? We whom get this surgery, you can't do that. Basically, you're literally just like this, you can't do that, you can't go like that, you can't be like anything kind of physically you can't do. Rose was so kind to me that whole 2 weeks, pretty much. She was putting out the cereal, we had it on the work surface, we had the milk on like a lower shelf. You need everything on like this kind of level. You don't want anything high because you will strain yourself and your boobs will, like I don't know what that sound was, but you don't want to strain yourself, basically. You don't want to carry a handbag if you do go out. You want to carry a very, very, very small bag, or a clutch bag. It's probably best just to carry things in pockets. I know that might be a bit hard for some people to do, like safety wise, but even like a small handbag may be just okay, but make sure it's very small and you don't have anything in there that you don't need. Literally just your phone, your keys and like a credit card, whatever, don't overdo yourself. I went out on the Friday, I went to town, I went to just look around and like have a, be outside of the apartment pretty much, and I was fine. I did mention that I was just a bit scared, like I was a bit more like holding myself. I had Rose on one side and Tom on the other, and we were like that, and then sometimes Rose would be in front and like move people out of the way. But I felt fine, like physically I felt fine, I was just scared. I will say one thing that I have looked back on and I would do differently is when you get into bed, or you're getting off of bed, or you're going and sitting on a couch or anything, when how normally you'd put your arms there and then move your body back, like you rest your arms in the bed and move back, don't do that, okay? You literally just need to shuffle like this. Your arms are up here, you need to shuffle. I did a lot of doing that, and I was getting a lot of tingles in my boobs, and it was just like, what is that? What is that? It's nothing to be scared of, okay? It's normally just your boobs trying to adjust to the strain you're putting on your arm, because obviously when you're doing that and you're leaning on the bed and moving back, you are putting a strain on your arm. So it's normally just, you know, your boobs reacting to what you're doing to them. It's not bad as in, you know, your boob's going to explode. That's not going to happen. It's just bad because you're putting strain onto it, that's all. So that was one thing that I've looked back and been like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I did have a lot of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's basically like, it felt like there were two things just going buzz, buzz, like spazzes, but not painful. It was just, I could feel it. And I have later known that that means that, you know, your nerves are just like reattaching each other, because with a mastopexy, it's a massive procedure, you know. Your nerves are still having to try and attach to each other. So that was kind of what was happening with that. And then a few days after that, I was pretty much fine, to be fair. I think the second week is probably when I started to feel a bit, oh. And I think I was just like claustrophobic in a way. I was just like, I've been in this apartment for ages, you know, I wake up, I do the same things, I can't do things for myself. I feel it is more just like an annoyance more than anything. But if you have someone with you for those 2 weeks, which I do honestly strongly recommend you to have someone with you for 2 weeks, then I'm sure you'll be fine. Like I said in my last vlog as well, get a good TV show to watch, like literally from start to finish. Maybe like have like at least like 3 seasons, because you're gonna want to watch TV. That's all you can pretty much do, and you want to just like zone out, and I feel like watching a TV series is how I zone out the best. Anyway, so that's pretty much what you can expect for the first couple of days. The best sports bra is a question I have been asked by so many people, and it's a question that I continuously ask as well. You do not want a sports bra where you have to lift your arms and get into, okay? You do not want one of those. You want a zip up sports bra. These are the ones that I used to wear, and it would just zip down here, and you'd literally just put your arms through, do it up, and you zip it up. I got mine from Marks and Spencer's, and they are expensive. They're £22, but you need to remember, for the surgery you're having, you need to look after your boobs afterwards. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be going into those cheapy sports bras, because you don't know what will happen, you know. So I would say invest in these and get M&S ones. They do a purple one, a black and white one, and a black one. So do not get ones that you have to put over your head or anything that you need to like move into. You literally just want a zip up one. And yeah, these ones are the ones that I wore. For when you are buying your sports bra, depending on what surgery you get and what implant size you get, your doctor and your surgeon should tell you what size you should go up to. I started off as a 36DD, and my implant size is a 350cc, so that would take me up 2 cup sizes, so I would have ended up being an F. Now with an uplift you lose a cup size, and that would take me down to an E. So I picked up sizes 36DD, 36E, 36F, 38E, 38F. So I picked up 5 different types of sizes, and I brought them all to the hospital, and the nurses, after you get your boob job, will help you get into them, and they will tell you which one is the right size. And luckily I ended up being a 36E, which is a size that I thought I was going to be anyway. So yeah, always remember that when you are getting an uplift as well, depending on how much skin is taken, you will lose a cup size. That is something that girls have been asking me about. You will lose a cup size, okay? So don't come up in there thinking, oh, I'm a 34C, I want to end up being a 34F, okay? You're going to have a massive implants for that. Another thing that I do want to address is a girl mentioned to me that she wanted to get massive implants and she wanted an uplift. Right, when you're getting an uplift, it's usually because you've either lost weight and gained weight, or you've breastfed, or you've had children, stuff like that, okay? This is because your boobs have then grown to a certain size and have shrunk, okay? The skin around it has elasticated from the growth, and then when they've shrunk, the skin's just dropped, okay? The skin has not bounced back, because that's not what your skin does. Skin does not do that, okay? That's why you have stretch marks. And the skin has just dropped because there's nothing there for it to fill anymore, okay? When you're then going to get rid of that skin, you're going to be tightening it, okay? So you're getting rid of the excess skin. I don't know what all these hand actions are doing. I'm sorry. You're getting rid of all the excess skin, and there's going to be new skin, which is going to be tightened around the boob, okay? If you get, I would personally say, I'm not a surgeon, I'm not a doctor, I'm not like completely experienced in all of this. If you get anything more than a 400cc with an uplift, your boobs will very much drop, and you will have the same problem with your boobs being saggy, okay? When you settle for less than a 400, for example a 375, that may not be the case, you know. It may fill your boob and your boob will sit nice and natural. So as you guys can see with mine just sit like this, okay? I don't have a bra on or anything, this is just a top. So the boobs will come and curve down here. My boobs are not up here, which is usually what happens when you're flat chested and you just get implants. They usually just sit up there. When you're getting an uplift, your skin will still settle with the weight of the implant. And mine weighed 350cc obviously, so they just sat quite natural. If you do go heavier, then there will be a chance that your boobs will drop more. It's just entirely up to you what it is you're wanting from your uplift. From your uplift, if all you want is just them just to be a little bit higher and you don't care if they sag a lot more down, then that's fine. But if you want to get an uplift and have them look naturally-ish, you know, not like there's two massive implants just hanging, I would honestly recommend less than a 400cc. However, if your surgeon is saying different, then that is fine. Obviously I'm not trained, I'm just saying what I personally, you know, have thought of in my head, well, what will happen and what my surgeon has said to me. Next one that I get a lot of is scar fading. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, my scars I personally feel have gone down quite a lot. I'll try and insert some photos as much as I can here, because I know you guys love the photos. I feel that my scar fading is gone down so much. Now my scars, because of the operation that I've had, are one around my nipple, one going down the boob, and one going under the boob. Where the one going down the boob and under the boob meet, like that little meeting point, that's quite hard for the scarring to fade, surely because, you know, you've got two scars there, you know, it's not just one normal scar, you've got two scars meeting. It's a bigger tissue to have broken and bigger scarring to have happened to your skin. So it may be that that will take a bit longer to fade and, you know, look more natural. I feel with mine, I don't really care, if I'm being honest. You know, I went on holiday and I went topless for a little bit. I was just like, I don't care if people see my scars and are like, what the hell? Because I just feel like from those little scars I got such an amazing gift, you know what I mean? I got my boobs, which is what I've wanted for ages, and if I have to sacrifice a few scars, that's fine. People's skin are completely different, so I can say to you that mine were really lucky in that they've faded quite a lot. Somebody could be going a year down the line and still have their scars quite bad. It just depends on how your skin reacts to scars. When you go for your consultation and when you speak to your surgeon, they will ask, have you had any of the scars, so they can see and they can kind of tell you what yours will look like. I unfortunately had no scars on my body, so they couldn't tell me, so mine was just a guessing game. But I was at that point where I was like, even if they're really dark and really noticeable, I don't care, because more than likely or not, they're never going to be on the show. The only person that's ever really going to see them is Tom. He doesn't give a crap, to be fair. So I wasn't really fussed about that. But for scarring, it just completely depends on your skin. If you do have any scars, then look at see what, you know, how they faded or how they look now, and that will probably give you the best indication. My next one is nipple sensitivity. Okay, this is gonna be so weird to talk to you guys about, but you know, I'm an open book with you guys. Nipple sensitivity. So for the uplift, like I've said, you're gonna have a scar and incision around the nipple. So what the surgeon does is he removes your nipple and he then will tighten the skin. Like I've said, he'll get rid of the excess skin. He may or may not chop around the nipple. I think he did chop mine very like little amount, just because obviously when your boobs are bigger, your nipples will grow as well, and then when they drop, your nipples just look like massive compared to the rest of your boob. So when you have your new boobs, he just makes them really pretty and like fit around pretty much. It's just cosmetic surgery, which it is. So yeah, you will have your nipple taken off and put back on basically. You are going to experience for the first, I'm going to say 2 months at least, tingles. Like, they're going to be crazy tingles. They're going to be your nerves going, nee, and it's going to feel like tickles, like non-stop. They happen at the most randomest of times. It's actually quite like funny at some points. When I first got them done and I first went back to the gym after 6 weeks, I would be on the treadmill and my nipples would just be like erect, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. And you're just stood there like trying to rub them so that they're not erect, and it's just, it's really, really funny. My nipples, like the physical sensitivity though, sometimes they're numb. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like sometimes like I can't really feel anything. Like if I'm just like touching them, I can't feel if they're hardening or if they're the same or anything like that. And when it's cold outside, they don't get erect like they used to, you know, like if there's a wind, my old nipples will just be like that straight away, whereas now they're just like, no, I don't need to be erect, do I? So for me personally, I don't think that my nipples have gone back to how they should be or how they would have been, but I'm not really too fussed about that because I don't know, I don't really find that as a necessity to me. But this is, again, the nipple sensitivity is completely about your body and your nerves. Some people have been fine with theirs and it's gone back to normal. Some people have been extreme sensitivity. Some people have lost them, and it takes different amount of time. So I've only been 6 months post-op. It may take a year, longer, you know, it just depends really on the person and their body. So the next one is the biggest question I get asked, and it is, how have I found Maya? I would say that Maya definitely appeals to a lot of young girls, and guys, sorry, and I feel that that is who their target market usually is. Now, are they good? Okay, I want you guys just to remember this, okay? I can only judge it from my experience, okay? Maya may get like hundreds of customers a year and stuff like this, and everyone's story may be different. My personal story may be different to others that you have heard from. I have not had a good experience with Maya, and I'm going to say that bluntly to you guys because I literally get this question all of the time. You guys are obsessed with knowing how Maya is. Okay, so I first went for my consultation, fine, everything was great. You know, I felt like, okay, this is fine, you know, I'm finally gonna get my boobs done. They match you up with a surgeon basically, and I got given a surgeon, and I met him, and when I met him, he came across very rude. I went with my friend, and you know, I'm the one that's paying all this money, and he was just staring at my friend, and he wouldn't look at me, he wouldn't talk to me, he was just staring at her, and I was like, great. I then went. I took my bra off, my top off, and he looked at my boobs and like measured them and done all this kind of stuff to them. And I felt at that point, this was the first person who's ever seen my boobs. Even Tom never saw them at this point, you know. I was very, very vulnerable at that point, and it was just very weird for me to feel so vulnerable to somebody. He then like told me, he was like, okay, go get dressed, you know, I'll come back. So we went back in the room, and he was just like, I'm not going to do the surgery on you. And I was like, what? What? He was like, I'm not going to do the surgery on you. He was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that on you. He was like, I don't feel like the surgery is going to help you in any way and get the boobs that you want. And I was just like, what? I was like, how do you know what boobs I want? Like, nobody knows what boobs I want. I didn't even know what boobs I wanted. He was like, I'm not going to give you the porn star boobs up there. I was like, that's not what I wanted though. I've never wanted boobs like that. Well, maybe when I was young, you know, everybody wanted boobs like that. But I felt like I've invested my time. I'm going to invest my money. And you're just going to sit there and say you're not going to do it because you don't know what boobs I want. That's just bull crap. Do you know what I mean? I was like, no. So he's basically saying, I'm not going to do it. You look like a middle-aged woman who's had 3 kids. I was like, wow. Basically, he was like, my boobs look like a middle-aged woman who's had 3 kids. And I was like, wow, I'm 21 years old. And I was very big, and I lost a lot of weight. And this is how I'm going to get spoken to. And I was like, do you know what? It's fine. So then you go in for another meeting back with your patient coordinator and they ask you how it went, and I was just like, I don't like it, I don't want to be here, I don't like this surgeon, I don't, you know, he was basically just horrible to me and I was crying and everything. And she was like, okay, we're going to get you matched up with a different surgeon. So I was like, fine. So I went with another surgeon called Dr. Mania. I spoke about him in my last video. I am obsessedly in love with him. He's incredible. I met him and he was just like, I'm going to do the surgery. He's like, I don't mind doing the surgery. He's like, I love doing them. I was like, oh, great, perfect. He was so kind to me. He was very blunt, but he was very nice about being blunt, if that makes sense. So he was saying, Sophie, there are a lot of risks. Your boobs may drop again. Your boobs will do this, 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 this. But I'm happy to do the surgery if you are. He was continuously going over other risks because that's what they have to do, you know. If they don't tell you enough, you can go back and say, you didn't say my boobs are going to look like this. So they have to do that. And I was fine with that. And then I feel like after that meeting and after I'd paid them, Maya were just MIA. It should be called MIA, not MYA. They were just MIA, like, you know, they wouldn't contact you or anything. And then it came to your surgery day and you were like, okay, then cool. I had to pester them for my 1 week post-op. I had to pester them for my 2 week post-op. And I'm now 6 months post-op and I have not had my 6 weeks post-op appointment yet. They still haven't contacted me about my 6 weeks and they haven't contacted me about my 6 months. I met my friend and she had hers done with them and she said that basically she feels that when they take your money, that's it, that's all they really want. And I was like, I pretty much feel the same. But like I've said to you guys, okay, this is just my story and what I went through with Maya, okay? This is not what everyone has gone through with Maya because I follow them on Instagram and I've read some of the comments and people are like, I love Maya, I've had such great aftercare and I've been looked after so much and like all this, and I'm just like, well, I wasn't. So it is just potluck really, I suppose. I have mentioned in my previous video that my friend went with Transform and everyone's like, would you recommend Transform? I can't say I would recommend Transform because I have not had a procedure done with them. However, what I will recommend is you shop around, okay? Go and literally look into everything. Look into their forums, look into their feedback, look into YouTube videos like this, okay? Because more often than not, companies will never post bad reviews, okay? And if they do, they're like the slight bad reviews, like, oh, I was spoken to rudely. That's kind of things. They wouldn't post what I'm telling you guys now, okay? Because I've wrote into Maya and I've said this to them and I haven't been posted on their forum or anything. Do you know what I mean? So look around the outside company, if that makes sense. Look around at the YouTube, look around in the Google comments, that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my personal experience and what I would say I can recommend and what I can't recommend. I would say though, when I was going through like the scared, I was like worried about situations I was in with my boobs and like the aftercare, I wouldn't call Maya. I'd call my friend and ask her to call Transform and they would be so helpful and everything. Transform aren't like that popular with young people, I personally feel. So I feel like most people just hover towards Maya, which is what I did. And I feel that you need to give like other companies, at least consultations are usually free. Just go in, have a feel, see if you feel comfortable or whatnot, and then just go from there. And then the last question that I really get is any tips and advice. Feel like I've pretty much covered a lot of it in that, like, of what you should be doing when you first get them done, you know, like keeping your arms like this, don't be straining your arms, don't be lifting, try not to be bending down as much, keep your shallow baths for at least 2 weeks, no matter what your surgeon says. I would say at least 2 weeks because I did 2 weeks. It was disgusting, but I did it. Ooh, where to get measured. A lot of people ask me this. So I used to work at a shop called Boo Avenue. They sell lingerie, underwear, blah blah blah, and when I worked there was only one rule about people who've had a boob job: wait 6 weeks, and that's fine, and then you can measure them. It's great. I went in when I was 7 weeks post-op to Boo Avenue and they said that they would refuse to measure me until I was 12 weeks post-op. At this point I was in like agony, okay? My sports bras were just so tight and my boobs were just so heavy because they're always in the sports bra, you know? You wake up, you take them off to have a shower and you put it on straight away, you have to sleep in it and over, and it's just agony. Like my back was killing, my neck was killing, I was like struggling, I couldn't like cope anymore, so I had to get a bra and they were like, we're refusing to do it, and I was like, fine, no problem. I went to Victoria's Secret and they were like, you were refused, and I was like, I was refused, and they were like, come, and they took care of me, and it was great. It was honestly great. Victoria's Secret is probably where I would suggest to go, but then I've seen a lot of people say that Boob Avenue do it, so I don't know if it's just my Boob Avenue. I don't know if it's Sod's Law being against me, that everything about my boob job is just going to be difficult or what. So yeah, just try and see where you can get done. Just depends what bras you really like. I love the Victoria's Secret bras. I think they're like beautiful. I really do. They're very expensive, but they're beautiful. So that, guys, concludes my updated 6-month boob job vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. Like, as always, if you have any questions, any queries, anything like that, then please just comment down below. Comment me on Twitter, Snapchat, anything like that, Instagram. Like, you guys just always find a way to contact me anyway, so just go ahead. If I left anything out, please let me know, and I will like do like a bit in my description bar so that you guys can know anything more. I think that's it. I'm gonna say that's it because I just can't think of anything else to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, share and subscribe to my channel, and I don't think I'm going to do an update now probably until like a year has gone, just because I don't think much is going to change between 6 months and 1 year. So yeah, probably January time I'll be doing an updated one. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.